and I can actually finally be myself on here. That's what it felt like. I could finally be myself. My name is Tegan Yorwarth. I'm 24 years old and I'm a radio broadcaster on Mai FM. Life was pretty cool. I'm fortunate enough to be an army brat, so lots of moving, lots of starting new schools, but within that experience I was able to live in Tonga as a kid. I lived in the United States, so I think although it was really hard as a kid, you're like having to move and start fresh all the time, which, for someone who's a little bit anxious, that is like really hard. Every 2 years just having to pack up and go. Those kind of experiences very much like have shaped me and sort of my understanding of the world as it is today. My own experience with mental health has been like sort of one that I didn't really acknowledge until I've been an adult. And it's not till you get to a point in your life where maybe the feelings are really overwhelming and you sort of go, no, hold on a second, my feelings are actually valid. I was diagnosed when I was 22 with depression and anxiety. I have a really high functioning version of anxiety. And so I think it's always been kind of like this fluid journey that I've been on, but it's not till it was really, really confronting, which was sort of the beginning of last year, that I had to actually go, okay, really, really acknowledge it. I think, if anything, getting the diagnosis was actually really, it was a relief to get that kind of clarity, because you just think, what is wrong with my brain? Why am I so sad? Why can't I just get past this? And when someone goes, oh, well, you've actually got depression, there's actually something a little bit like in your brain that is not functioning how it should. So you just kind of go, oh, okay. So I felt a little bit accepted, and I felt already that I was kind of a part of something to be able to put that label on it. And it was I think it was a good moment for me. Although confronting again, it was a good moment for me.
I've had a really rough time this year. I got diagnosed with depression. I have a lot of anxiety as well. And just to give an example of what that looks like I have high functioning anxiety. So of how I look on the outside, I'm outgoing, I'm functional, I'm punctual, on the outside, high achieving, I'm really focused, all that kind of stuff. But on the inside, I overthink, I'm always seeking reassurance, I have a lot of negative self-talk, I have repetitive habits, and all sorts of stuff like that. So
I came to the conclusion that I wanted to talk about it because it was Mental Health Week, and quite often on our show, myself, Nixon and Jordan, we've made a real point together that we really want to talk about topics that are hard, and that's always been our thing. It wasn't that we were feeling that pressure, but it was like, okay, here's something that I relate to. Why don't I talk about it and maybe normalize that conversation, and that might be helpful in one household. It was really scary to share it because I didn't know how it was going to be received. Not that I ever thought there was going to be any negative feedback, but once I did it, even the messages that came in immediately just through the text machine, I was like, oh my God, wow, there was so much uffy, so much love, so much support. It was crazy. And then for weeks I was getting messages and all sorts of stuff, and it was just so nice for me to feel accepted, but for other people to message me, oh my God, I don't want to cry, but other people messaging me saying that that did something for them, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I just thought it was just me out here, but it was really nice, and but because you feel so much pressure to just always put it on and be happy, but it was I got to be sad, and everyone still thought I was all good. So I was it was really, really special, really cool. Very much felt like the beginning of my journey. I was talking about it, but I was still going through it, and I think so. It was hard. It was hard, but it was a really nice point of reference, and just even people close to me. Reaching out to me, and even my parents just finally taking a step back and going, oh, how do we, or what can we do to help your situation? And, since then it's just only been getting better. So it's conversations. That was probably my main tool, and little things if you feel not getting out of bed in the morning, actually just pushing yourself to get out of bed. Go outside for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of sun on your eyes is mood stabilization. It helps with that. Just little things like that. Go finding things that fill your cup. Journaling, writing in a little journal every night. My mum got me this little journal. It's called a gratitude journal, which was really nice because I could write in it, but it always was hopeful. It was today I'm grateful for, and I have a little mood meter. I have to colour in how good I feel. Have I rested today? There's some boxes to tick, and then a nice positive affirmation to finish it off. And just doing that is and some people go, oh, they might roll their eyes at it, and I'm it's actually so helpful. On the days I was feeling particularly low or just over it, I think Definitely the boys that I work with were amazing energy. Like at the time, producer Ryan, Jordan, Nixon, I am so grateful for them because they really helped me through. But them just making me laugh in the morning, that was just enough to just put me in a good mood. And I always had a rule with them that if I was here, then I'm good. Like, we don't have to talk about it. I might be a bit off, but if I'm here, I know I'm able to be here. It's not necessarily always about giving advice. I don't think you ever have to give advice and never feel the pressure to give advice to your friend who's struggling. I think it's just listening, processing, and helping them feel out what they need to feel out. So yeah, I was lucky that I still essential worker, so I got to come to work, but it was really busy being in lockdown, and so coming to work normal hours, but being finished by 10 and going home at 10 and still having to fill my whole day. I personally am a little bit more of an extrovert. I think I sort of swayed more on that side of that spectrum. But so I did struggle a lot, but it's one of those things, like you say, like, I learned a lot about myself, and I learned how to be okay with my own company, and I learned how to keep myself busy and like maybe do things that fill my cup that don't necessarily mean going out and seeing somebody or going out to the gym, because we didn't have that. Like, I was on every like F45 Zoom call, gym, like live stream. Like, I definitely did that because that helped. That was all the social interaction I needed, but also just being on the phone with my mum if I needed to, or FaceTiming a friend, and just things like that. But yeah, I think what I've learned from it is how to be all good with my own company, which I don't think I ever would have learnt, or maybe would have learnt a long way down the track. I would say to anyone who is potentially struggling at the moment, that quote again, the only way out is through. You really need to feel through the motions, like acknowledge what you're feeling, say it out loud, but also hopeful conversations are really important. My name is Tegan Yorwarth, and I'm a voice of hope.